Testing one, two, one, two, three. I don't know if you're supposed to do that right off the bat or you're supposed to wait. Let me click a few buttons and we'll know if we're live here in just a minute. All right, we're live. How about that? Today is May the 11th, Mother's Day. So I'm going to do something that I haven't ever shared with the public, or yeah, it's kind of tough to do it, but what the hell? This is pictures of my mother. And this is, when we get over to it, this is, I can't see the picture. Hmm. It, what is it doing that? Okay, well, we might not be able to see that. Hmm. All right. It ain't working. That's okay. Even if I make it full screen, I still can't see it. Ain't that something? Let me save that sucker. Copy. Open up a new YouTube. I can see myself there. Hmm. All right. Let me try this. That is so funny. It won't play it. That's all right. Must be a reason why. Huh. That is crazy. All right. Let me go to my YouTube channel. Well, what I'm trying to do is not wanting to work. So, and I'm pretty sure I'm live. Let me open this one up just to make sure. I hit refresh. Hmm. All right. Gummit. All right. Still looking. Boy, my hair looks like a mess. Okay, I know I'm live, so we're gonna get past all of that. Yeah. Okay. We got several things going wrong at one time, so hmm, all right. Well, the thing is about Mother's Day, so this is pictures of my mother. I'm gonna have to cut this thing down. Hang on. All right, I'm back. And what I've got here is some pictures of my mother, and that's my father. My mother left this planet quite a quite a while ago. I got that thing talking to me. I can't. Damn it. Okay. I'm sorry for all the confusion, but I've had to I've had to jump through some hoops to get started. All right. Well, we'll just get through with this part right here because evidently this is not going to play the way I want it to play. Ain't that something? Maybe a piece of technology that I ain't never seen or know about, but I was trying to play it. All right, I got this, and then I got some already opened up. I don't know if I can make them go big. I can do this, and then I can hit this, and hit this, and then hit paste. And then you can kind of see, is that it's still talking to me? Mute. I got that computer was just talking in the background, distracting the heck out of me. Yeah, I'd love to have this picture colorized and fixed up. It's a really cool picture. That's me, and that's my mother. My mother's name was Mary, and she was a redhead that was hard to handle sometimes. Now, where am I at? Get back here. Okay, we'll jump here. And that's a picture of us right there. Look at that. She was beautiful. She was beautiful. That's my sister, Darlene. And this is me. And that's my mama, Mary. Now, this is with us a little older. That's my brother, David. And that's Danny. And yeah, these pictures bring back memories. Memories. Yep. You can't zoom in on these kind, but you can copy it and then you can open it up like here, paste it, and then I can zoom in a little bit. That was Norris. He's passed, he's gone, but not forgotten, especially by the Huggins family, because when he got with my mom, he really helped her out tremendously. And he raised David, my brother, and Danny. And that's Bubba in the background. Everybody's got a Bubba in their family. We love Bubba. He passed at about 48, and I think it was the same age Elvis passed. My mother passed away in uh, 40, 48 of lung cancer, mesothelioma melanoma. Really sad, really sad. When she got the diagnosis, it wasn't very much longer after that. Oh, I'm jumping around now. Hang on. That's a video I just got through making. So I'm get back to where I'm at. Here I am. Boy, I'm showing you all the scenes behind the thing because I got glitch after glitch going on. All right. That's a picture of her, my mama, and that's my sister Darlene. That's a beautiful picture, but it's kind of out of focus. Now this is the older one of her in her young life. You can see the cigarettes. Yep. Yep. We smoked. And this is a good picture. If I had a quality one, you could really see it. Let me see if I can do this. Copy it. If I could run it through uh, a computer program and make it clean up, I I'd get distracted doing that, but I know I could do it. I'm gonna hit paste. There it is. And then I'm gonna highlight right here on this part and zoom in a little bit. Yep, she was beautiful. I don't have many pictures. I mean, it's amazing that people back in the day they just didn't take a lot of pictures. Pictures were worth Yeah, we didn't have the money, but here we go. All right, this is in later life. This is her getting matured in her age, but she didn't live to be 48. If I'm right about that, I could copy image. I think I did. Go here, paste. Yeah, that's Pop. We called him Norris, Pop, and that's my mama. And let me zoom in on her. At this point in her life, she had already started getting symptoms, but we really just didn't know how bad it was or how bad it could get. We just knew that it was bad. So I think I got one more keyed up over in this age right here. Yeah. Everybody loves their mama on Mother's Day. Some of us have to pull up pictures. Her sister is still alive, Betty Jefferson. I may be Jeffords. I may be pronouncing that wrong, but she's 100, and she was the oldest daughter, and she went to live with an aunt. Now, I'm gonna just give you this little story. Where was I at on copying this? I think I got it there. Okay, yeah, zoom in like that. But what I'm trying to say is this: my mother and her, the oldest sister was Betty. Betty went to live with the aunt, and Mama was the oldest, and then Martha. No, Anna Lois. We lost three sisters that washed the clothes when my granddaddy came home from working the shipyard in Pascagoula, Mississippi. They washed his clothes and the mesonoma, the actual, um, the fibers, shoot, it causes a lot of problems. And along with smoking cigarettes, there has been a lot of people die from asbestos. It was asbestos in the shipyards. They were putting that stuff in there. And my granddaddy had, so she was a child way, way back in the day when they washed clothes out by hand. They would shake them out, and all that dust was bad dust. Yeah, asbestos dust. All right, I'm just telling you probably way more than you want to know, and that's okay. We live and we learn. But this is pictures that I can kind of zoom in on. But I wanted to show you my granddaddy, and he died young. Of course, yeah, his lung disease took him down pretty hard, but he was a loving man. My grandmother right there. If you could see her face, that's what my Aunt Betty looks like, and that's what my mama would have looked like if she had got old. But Betty didn't wash the clothes because she wasn't there, and she's still alive at 100. So it just, yeah, look at those tomato plants. Ain't they beautiful? Look at that. My granddaddy was about 6 foot. I used to think he was 6'8", but I've been told that I was wrong about that. He's 6'5", and yeah, and that's Bubba. That's a picture of a young Bubba, and this is when Norris was really young. My mama was really young. Ain't that pretty? Look at that. And that's a picture of my grandmother. You can see that face in my face. You can see that face in my mama's face too. But David was pretty young back then. And that's Danny. He was probably 2 or 3 years old. I didn't calculate the years, and try to do the math so I'd be accurate about their ages. I just said I'd just do it. And this is what's weird is I can't uh this is from a movie set, Ode to Billy Joe. And I've tried to pull it up where I could show you the clips with my mother in it, and it's totally black screen when I go to it. But this is at on the set. Now the story, how did we get on in the movie? My whole family, my mama, and this was a close friend of my mama and her boyfriend, and we had myself and Danny. I think Danny was born then. Well, like I say, I didn't do the calculations, but I know David was there. And if you look at a picture of Danny, Danny was he was alive. He was there. Yeah, he's still alive. David is my brother. He's 5 years younger than me. I'm 64. Not going to do the math, but that's a picture of me right there that don't have many of me, but I have some. Now that's a beautiful picture of my mom. One day I'm going to run these through AI and get them cleaned up and looking good. A man did this one for me way back a few years ago. So I'm going to let me pull this one out and make it pop up and look at it. Look at that. Ain't that beautiful? I'm going to copy it and then I put it in this and then I can zoom in on it. Paste. Look at that. Ain't that beautiful? Look at them eyes. Now, if I could show you the clip that I wanted to show you, and it's going to end up going like, what in the world can I show you the clip that I've already wanted to show you? And I can't. It's because you're not, the spirit of what the living Christ is, ain't going to let me do it. How can I show you that? Let me reopen this in another modality. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go to Bing, Microsoft Edge, open it up. We can see the background. I'm going to enter in the timestamp where my mama is in the video making the movie Ode to Billy Joe. We were extras. I know I'm not saying this correctly and rambling, but I got us in there because I rode my bicycle to the Tallahatchie Bridge from the trailer park that we lived at. Uh, Maloof Trailer Park. Anybody know where that is? You know that the bridge was about 2 or 3 miles back into the country and crossed the Yallabusha River. I'm believing it did. All right, let's figure this out real quick. See if this is going to work. Paste, hit it. Bam, we can see it. Let's see if it'll play. I don't want it, no sound, no sound. And I got the timestamp. Let me see how far I am from it. I'm close. I'm close. Let's do this. Bam. 5 seconds at a time. Well, even that ain't gonna, it's glitching. Come on. Okay. Okay. What we got going on? All right. One of them is earlier. So this is the one. I got the sound down. That's the main thing. And see if it'll skip ahead 5 seconds at a time. This is the fight scene. There's my mama. Ha ha. Look at that. Oh, it ain't black. The screen went black. What the? Maybe you can't show dead people on on the thing. It was wasn't it working just a second ago? It works like that if I do that. I can see it. Look at that. It will not play the movie part where I want it to. Ain't that something? I can do that and you can see it, but you can't I can't stop it on my mama. My dang. She's right behind that scene right there. And it ain't gonna play. I be damned. That sucks. Well, I thought I could do it, and I practiced it a little bit, and I can't do it. You're not going to be able to see her walk across the screen. She did it two times. Two times. One of them was where a girl shook up a Pepsi bottle and sprayed a boy in the face, and she's kind of as a extra. She's behind it, and yeah, it will not let me see the screen. Let me pull up Buddy Huggins. I can't even. Yeah, there I am. I'm gonna just see if it'll play anything. I'll play one of the newer videos I got. That is so weird. Oh yeah. I'm gonna just see if it'll play this car. Look at that. Perfect picture. Perfect. Perfect. This is the car I videoed yesterday. Beautiful car. Look at the front end of it. So now if I cut in the timestamp again, let me play hit that. Oh, that's my timestamp. It just will not show it. Well, I gotta move on, people. I gotta move on. That is so weird. Sometimes you can master a type of knowing, and it will not work, and that's okay. I might could do a screen grab and just show you. Let me try that. I know I got this set for screen grab. Let me do this. F11. Grab the blank screen. And if I pull that, that's the car I've been making a video about. I'm going to show you that in a minute. It didn't work. It does not want to work. Okay. The only way I can do that is no way. It's in a mirror or something. Oh man, that's crazy. That is crazy. All right. But that's my daddy right there. Look at that picture. Ain't that something? I'm gonna open it up so you can get a little closer look. Yep, that's my daddy. Daddy Bo. Oh, this is what I wrote. Listen.
Today is Father's Day and I want to honor the memory of my daddy, Huey Lee Huggins, who left this world too soon. He was born on October 5, 1938 in Greenville, Mississippi. He was also known as Bo Huggins to most people. He was a loving father, brother, uncle, and friend. He always had a smile on his face and a joke to tell. He loved his job as a sheet metal mechanic in Greenville.
Let me try to get it all so you can hear. It's got ages.
He was a hard-working man who provided for his family. He was a man of faith who served the Lord. He was my hero and my inspiration. He passed away on December 26, 2008 at the age of 70.
Yep. Lung cancer got him. Lord have mercy. All right. That's some pictures. I got that one, 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 that one. That's one of my favorite. I remember that. Yeah. My daddy looked like a cross between James Dean and Evil Knievel and Elvis Presley. That's my daddy right there. That's me in the background. That's my daddy's mother, and that's one of the many girlfriends my daddy had. My daddy was a one of them kind of guys that could just look at women, and next thing you know, he had a girlfriend. Might have been for a week, might have been for a day, but Yeah, and that's the picture I cannot show you, but I'm going to make it big so we can look at it. On the set of Old to Billy Joe. Ain't that something? Now, it'll let me see that part. That's a trailer of the movie. Oh, I've never played that. The sound is down. Let me look and see if it'll even play. Would you believe that the trailer will play? If you haven't seen the movie, it's free on YouTube. And Glennis Connor is her name, I believe. And Robbie, that's Robbie Vincent. Ah, dang, I may be saying that wrong. Gee, Robbie Benson and O'Connor. I can do this and it'll read it to us.
Ode to Billy Joe, 1976. Official trailer, Robbie Benson, Glenys O'Connor.
Look at that. That movie was made in 1975. I'm a little, yeah, ain't that something? That's the Tallahatchie Bridge. That's a beautiful bridge, and it's a big old new one in place. That's him getting off of it. Look at him. Look at him. When I seen him, I was 14 years old, and I actually one of the ladies that was part of the uh, production crew, she wanted me and Robbie to talk, and um, man, me and him talked for about 30 minutes, and he enjoyed the conversation, and I did too. I just thought he was going to be a superstar. He made other movies, but he never got like superstar status. And uh, Glennis O'Connor, I don't know how many movies she made, but I never seen that she
Glenys O'Connor.
got to be a superstar. But let's just look at the trailer. I was in the movie, the scene where they were in the church and at the what they call the hold down scene. It'll show that in a minute. But that's Robbie right there. He was tall for a young guy, because he was actually playing like somebody that's in high school. But I do remember him being really tall, like 6'2". You can see he's pretty tall. Good looking fella. I actually got a picture. If I could find it, it would be a perfect time to insert it. I took the picture of with an old camera, yeah, I still got that picture, but I don't know where it is. Does that mean I lost it? No, it just means I don't know where it is. But this was a church scene where they were kind of getting serious about talking about meeting up, having a date. They're getting kissy kissy. Well, if you don't know the story, Ode to Billy Joe is a wonderful lady that Bobby Gentry made a song about it, and it became a top hit way back in the day. I don't know the history on that, but we could find out. And that kissing scene right there was interesting, to say the least. Now yeah, let me see if I can find the bridge. There it is. Look at the bridge. Ain't that beautiful? And there's her throwing the flowers off of the Tallahatchie Bridge. I know the song is copyrighted, so that's the reason we're not playing it. And this is for entertainment and satire purposes that I'm overlaying this and talking about the movie so you can see what I'm talking about. My mama was in the movie. I was going to be in the movie and it got cut out. Have you ever heard them talk about somebody brags and says, "Oh, I was in that movie." And then they go, "Yeah, but my part was cut out. They left it on the cutting room floor." Pitiful. I don't want to dox anybody, but one of the producer director people, not a top guy, but he was like third string, third string. They have like first stream, second stream, and third string. And he was had a daughter. And so she was on site with him there, right there in Greenwood, Mississippi. And in the scene that I wanted to show you is the hold down scene. That is a scene where they were all partying. And oh, that's a good picture of Bobby Gentry. Billy Joe. Let me just highlight that. It's going to start playing through. I had it highlighted. Let me see if I can do it again. What is it? Every time you want to do something and show somebody something and try to show you can know how to click and double click a damn thing and it won't do it. Any other time I could make it read that. Dang, that's so weird. Nothing wants to work. I'm gonna just make it open up again because that's a picture of the bridge right there. That's a good picture of the bridge. Yeah, this is a good video. I'll put this link in the description so later on. I haven't even watched it. I've been doing other things instead of doing research like I should have done and could have done. I didn't do that. But there's the Tallahatchie Bridge, and I definitely remember uh, first time I ever went across that bridge. I was a little bitty thing. And then I got big enough to ride my bicycle over it, and that's how I met them. They were filming underneath shade trees, and they were born. That's Bobby Gentry, and it shows that's a plaque that's telling about her life. Well, well, well. Um, so when I pulled up to them, I had to find the right people to talk to, and so I started talking, and then I kept talking. And next thing I know, I had a bunch of people kind of standing around me, and they want to know where did I come from because there's no community there except 2 miles back up to one of the main highways. And now the road that I was on was asphalt, but it led up to the bridge. And there was a big group of them. They were eating lunch and they catered, they did their own cooking on site. The people that did the cooking, when I got to talking to them, they did a movie. They just come off a movie called Paint Your Wagon, and they had some of the best food. Oh, they fed me, and they told me how to talk to my mama about bringing the whole family and become extras in the movie, and that's what we done. We went to Edabina and met with some people and signed some papers. I think back then, 1975, I think we were making something like $17 a day. And so they was about my mama, my brother, my little brother, me, and two friends of the family. That would be six people. And we were getting that in cash. Maybe it was $20 so they didn't have to break it. I think it was $20. We got $20 a day. And literally, I think we did almost 14 days as extras, and I'm not in the damn movie nowhere, not anywhere. You can't see me nowhere. It's talking about her life. Very interesting. I'm trying to see if it's got any more pictures of the bridge. A little bit, but not much. Let me just get to that part right there. Oh, that's a good picture of the bridge. Let me stop it right there. Jump ahead. Play. Yeah, see, you can see this, but you can't see the one with my mama in it. I'm going to actually figure that out and crack that and make another separate video about it. But look at that bridge. A wooden bridge that was on the verge of falling and collapsing, and they made a movie knowing that eventually they were going to replace the bridge. These are some of the same pictures we seen earlier. I never met her, never seen her. I know I heard tell that she came to town and did things, but that's an old album of the, yeah, look at that picture there. All right. That is why my mama was going to be featured tonight because of that picture I wanted to show y'all. She had two walk ups, and one of them, the little girl was shaking up a Pepsi bottle, and there's like four boys or three boys and one girl, and she squirted one of them in the face after she shook that Pepsi bottle up. And then my mama was standing behind them, and it's just a beautiful face that she made about it. It's just very interesting that I could see it, and but y'all can't see it. All right, I'm gonna move on from this subject to another subject. Well, I'm gonna show you some pictures that me skateboarding, and this is quite a while ago, many years ago. And look at that plastic board. First board I ever made was 1960. I want to say 1968. It had steel wheels and a two before, and I rode that board for a long time till I got clay wheels off of a roller skate that had clay wheels, and it rode really good. And this was one of the cheaper ones, but I didn't have many pictures of me riding skateboards. Now this is one that the news people came out and did. I had already mastered a handstand. I can't think of the year, but you can look at me. I'm pretty young. I did set up these cards because they wanted me to show what I could do with cards. Yeah, that was pretty easy. Look at the salt and pepper holding them up. But I attempted to set them up like edge to edge, and yeah, you could read this, and it would have been a real interesting thing that I done, but it it kind of turned out to be less than cool. Instead of 15 to 18,000 falling, a door was opened up in a in the department store where I had it laid out across the floor, and a gust of wind knocked them down, and I had to restart. But oh, this is one of my computer pictures. I don't have many of it, but that's a Ray Kurzweil. That's a flatbed scanner. It would do character recognition. This computer, I got it in 1995. I'm thinking I was 32. I went back to Mississippi Delta Community College and got an associate's degree. Took me 2.5 years. but in drafting and CAD design. But this computer was bought and paid for by the Vocational Rehabilitation for the Blind. And eventually I got them to change the name to the Blind and Dyslexic. But I was one of the first people in the whole country to have a computer that could read to you and could read the internet using a software way back then called JAWS. And the flatbed was Ray Kurzweil. And actually, the 486 computer, you can't see the actual computer because it's down here. You can see how big that damn keyboard is. So this is, I can't read the date, 4/11/00. So I done had the computer for a while. I built my first website in 1999 with HTML code. Didn't, yeah, that's another story. Well, let me look and see if there's anything else interesting. That's good pictures of my daddy. Daddy Bo. And these are pictures when I was injured and I gained a lot of weight. Couldn't hardly walk. I was having to walk on a cane. I was pretty busted up. But I look older in these pictures than I actually look now. And this was a long time ago. I'm trying to think, uh, 2006, something like that. I'd already, 2000, August 17, 2003, I'd actually, my mind became still. And by this time, I'd been practicing Karya yoga for quite a while. And that helped me to be able to get over this serious injuries that I had. Won't go off into that story now, but my dad loved old cars. That's a pink Cadillac, and this is a '59 Ford with four doors. Look at the Cadillac. Ain't that pretty? That's my uh, sister's husband's motorcycle. It's Mother's Day, but I'm going to show you pictures of my daddy. And this is my family: Susan, Mallory, Brittany, and Sarah. Sarah stayed with us. She was a foster child. We did foster care for 11 years. Had a therapeutic license because I was a person with disabilities. I advocated for children, and Sarah still in our family. Still, uh, yeah, that's a picture of me and my sister. That's Susan, my dad, the girls. Yeah, I don't know what year that was, but they grow up quick. Mallory, Brittany. Yeah. All right. Memories. Memories. I know I got some old pictures I wanted to show y'all. This is one of my mom. Yeah, that's a good one. Now, this lady was Miss Marie. She had a duplex on Shelby Street right up against the Chicago Mills. It was a gypsum mill. They called it the gypsum mill. And it was can y'all hear me? I hope you can. Let me try to get this thing a little closer to me. I don't. I think y'all can hear me good enough. She was quite a lady. Done a lot in her life, and they owned stores. And look at there. There's the gypsum mill. That shows you how close we were to the gypsum mill. That's her, and that's the way I remember her. Just before she had a bad fall, and Yep. She was very good to our family, and she left my grandmother the house. This is when she fell and she had to go into a nursing home. But there was a lady at the nursing home that named Louise that really helped her and watched after her. And yeah, now that's an old picture of my daddy and his brothers, and that's Betty. That's my daddy's sister. That's a real old. Now that's in Greenville, Mississippi. I can't think of the name of the street, but it's not that far from Goes Eat Place. It's in that part of town if y'all know where I'm talking about. Some old pictures. That's a good one of my brother. That's just before he went into the Navy. My sister went into the Air Force when she was had to get signed in 17 years old, and she stayed 20 years in and then did Texas Air National Guard for another after 20 years, then did another 10 years. My brother and my sister both did high ACT scores, and my brother went in as a electronic technician in the Navy, and they put him as a submariner. And so during Desert Storm, they're they're on a mission or at sea somewhere in the Mediterranean. I believe he said it was the Mediterranean, and they were changing out a satellite uh, radar dish, a huge one like a Cafa Ray 2, but it was very heavy. And instead of pulling the winches and doing things that would make it where they could lift it with the winch, just really easy, they wanted them to manhandle it because it was in a, you know, wartime situation and they wanted it ASAP so they would have good defense. They had a brand new model that was a lot lighter, but as he was maneuvering it, the boy slipped and all the weight went on my brother and he messed his back up. And over a period of quite a few years, he had three different back surgeries and still to this day is messed up from it. But yeah, he was a good guy, and he still is. I mean, he's a wonderful person. Oh, this is the old picture of me. Look at that. That's Mallory, and that's Robert. Robert was when we got together, so before her. So I think Robert was almost 4 or 5 when I got with the mom, Susan. And yeah, that's me. I gotta do a close up. Let me see if I can do a close up. Paste. Yeah, there. The light's coming through there. That's an old CB radio. Y'all kids don't know what them things are, but it was a combination of CB and scanner. They don't even do scanning no more for the police or the fire department or nothing like that. They got private channels they talk on now, and they use the damn cell phones. I think I think it's a crime. I think that we ought to be able to hear the communicating between them, but they say, "Oh, it's different world, buddy, different world." We don't have all that ability. Look at there. I weighed about 100. I weighed about 140 pounds there. Yeah, ain't that something? Uh-oh, what am I doing? Go back. No, that's the wrong way. Dig, gummit. I hung it up. Quit. You ain't gonna quit. And now the car pops up. Okay, that's telling me I got to tell you about the car. All right. Here's the video about the car. This is Clip Champ, and I made a video about it. So I'm going to make it go full screen and I'm going to play it. And so you can see the video before I published it. And we'll get on. out of the family situation with my mom on Mama's Day, and we'll get to talking about this beautiful car and this beautiful man that loves that car. He just loved it. He had to have it. And you'll hear the story about it. So let's play that. All right, I'm gonna move uh, myself out of the way a little bit more so you can see the video better. I hope my volumes are all right. Let's check it. The owner of Signal went and got this car, found it and washed it and brought it here to his store. His headquarters is right across the street. I'll cut in some pictures so you can see it. That's his training academy for all his stores.
Meet this little beauty, a 1979 Citroën 2CV, straight out of the French countryside, now living its best life right here in Ozark, Missouri, at a Signal gas station. But how did this quirky French classic end up across from Richard Scrivener's training office? Well, buckle up, because this is a story of nostalgia, adventure, and a lifelong love for classic cars. Back in the 1960s, a young Richard Scrivener, the man behind Scrivener Oil Company and Signal gas stations, was a free-spirited teenager hitchhiking through France. Picture this, a lanky kid with a dream and a thumb in the air, getting picked up by friendly locals in these adorable Citroën 2CVs. With their rounded roofs and headlights that look like they're winking at you, these cars were the heartbeat of rural France, built to carry farmers, eggs, and even the occasional hitchhiker without breaking a single yoke. Fast forward a few decades, and Richard Scrivener never forgot those rides. That little 2CV had stolen his heart. So when he spotted this cherry red gem all the way in Washington State, he knew he had to have it. He had it shipped straight to Ozark, Missouri to sit proudly at his Signal gas station, right across from his training office, where it's become a local legend. Now let's talk about Signal. With 12 locations across southwest Missouri, Signal isn't just about filling up your tank with top-quality gasoline and diesel. Oh no, they're serving up premium coffee, tasty snacks, and a smile that'll make your day. Whether you're in Springfield, Ozark, or anywhere in between, Signal's impeccably clean stores and competitive prices have made them a local favorite. And behind it all, Scrivener Oil Company, the family-owned powerhouse keeping southwest Missouri fueled up and ready to roll. So, next time you're cruising through Ozark, swing by Signal, say hi to this 1979 Citroën 2CV. It's more than just a car. It's a rolling reminder that the best stories come from the open road and a passion for the classics that never fades.
All right, you got the all right, you got to see the making of the video with all the pieces and components. Look at that. It I love making videos. I think it's my hobby. It's what I do. Hey, look, everybody's got to have a hobby. I don't quit. When I set my sights to learn something, a technology or a new program or new way the internet is, I don't quit. And so life goes on. That buddy right there, I wish he knew what this buddy knew, but that's part of the game. Yeah, you you not gonna you're not gonna be able to time travel to the point that you can educate that buddy. That buddy right there couldn't be educated. Yeah, that's something else. All right, let me cut this off here. I'm pretty sure. Oh, that's one of the older lady, Miss Marie's stores. Way back there. Look at how old that car is. That's in Greenville, Mississippi. She owned a really nice store that was close to the King Daughters Hospital, but I can't think of the name of an actual store. But yeah, that's a good picture of my daddy, my brother. Damn, he was a lot taller than me. That, yeah, he was a good looking fellow, wasn't he? He is a good looking fellow. Yeah. There's this graduation picture. Look at that. That's my brother David. Yeah. And that's my mama. That's my babies at Easter. I'm pretty sure that's Easter. Got the Easter bunny thing. That's a cousin. Yeah. And that's his wife and his stepdaughter, his daughter. Everybody has everybody has people that's been in jail. And this is my Uncle Bill. That's him. Look how good looking he was. He was in there in 1962 as a young man. Mm. Might tell that story one day, but my grandmother took really good care of him while he was there the best she could with what the money she had. And Miss Marie actually chipped in and came up with I can't think of the year he got out, but it might have been 68. He got a pardon from the governor. Then this is right around the time he got out, or not many years after that. That's what he looked like. He grew up in Parchment Penitentiary, and sad story, but he was a loving man. Now, that's the oldest, her oldest, my grandmother, that's his oldest. My daddy was the second, and that's a picture of Bill when he got out of prison, and they're visiting a grave. I don't do that. I don't go to graves. Got no desire. Now that's a good picture of Bill when he got out of jail. But everybody has family, and that's the boys. That's Dewey, and that's Bill, and that's my daddy. And who is that? Robert. Yeah, that's Robert. Now that's a picture of my dad. Look at that. Lucky to have that. Lucky to have that. Mm. So that's Betty, and that's Dewey, and that's my daddy Bo. Now that's a good picture of Robert. He was the youngest of the children of my grandmother, my daddy's brother, youngest. And that's a good picture of my daddy right there. Look at that. I got to tell y'all a story about my daddy one day, but I need more pictures to go with it and be able to explain it. That's my daddy there. So that's Betty. Betty was younger than my daddy. These dates and things, I don't even try to hold on to dates. That's Dewey, and that's my granddaddy. I ain't got many pictures of him, but got some. I think that's Betty, and I don't know who that is, but that's Bill. Look at Bill. Yep, they're all gone. All of them's gone. That's Robert, and this is 1957, so you can see how young he was. Look at that. Greenville Junior High, teenager. That's a good picture. He was good looking. All my uncles were good looking. The Huggins family in Greenville, Mississippi was good looking men. Yeah, they were. I think that's Bill, and I think that has to be, huh, I don't know. And look at that little girl walking by. Ain't that something? I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I know that's my daddy. All right, let's kind of speed up through here. Now this is my grandma, and this is Mr. Purvis. This man drove a motor grader for the county of Greenville, which Washington County, and he was an expert. He was when they needed to get hubs and to grade, laying asphalt or laying concrete. He could take that motor grader and he could put anything on grade that they gave him a stick to measure, and he'd fix it. That might be my grandmother's mother. Might be one of the last pictures of her too. I don't know. They never, nobody ever. That's the very rare snow in Mississippi, Greenville, Mississippi. All right, that's my sister. That's Air Force memory type thing. See if we can back through there. They all look at her. That's beautiful. My sister. She's 14 months older or something like that. That's Susan. That's me. There's Brittany. That's Mallory. David. And that's my sister's husband, Mike. And that's Dorleen. Look at her young right there. That might have been one of her first trips to Hawaii. And that's my David and Dorleen, my brother and sister. And that's all of us standing together. That's Robert, the youngest of the family. And that's my grandmother. Lisa, that was Robert's oldest daughter. And Darlene was my Uncle Robert's youngest daughter. And that's an old picture. That's pretty sure that's Bill. And I think that's my grandmother, but I can't tell. Look at that old radio. And I got to zoom in on it because y'all got to see this. Copy, go here, hit that, say paste. I want you to look at that radio. Look at that. What's that thing in front of it? That's a rotary dial phone, people. That's what we had to talk on, rotary dial phones. I know there's a way to back this up and make it smaller. Oh, yeah, go here, do this. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. I'm not sure what they're doing there, but all right, let's look and see what we see now. That was interesting. Where was that at? Go up, up. Lisa, Darlene, Lisa, and that's Ann. That's Robert's wife, Ann. She's still with us. She's still alive, and she was so beautiful, beautiful children. And Robert was a good-looking man, very good looking. Now that's a good picture of him. That's 1959 and 60, and that's Greenville High School. Good looking man. That's the pink Cadillac and visitors from Illinois, from Dewey's family. I know y'all don't know all these people, but that's a picture of Dewey. And it wasn't too long after that picture, he had a massive heart attack. And he was one of the managers, a big shot at Caterpillar. And he worked and worked himself to death. Hmm. That's a picture of him when he got married to his second wife. Look at him. Yeah. People just didn't know how to be healthy back in them days. Everybody was smoking. And yeah. Now that's a good picture of my daddy, but you can't see it. Not clear, but That's a good picture of Betty, and that's my grandmother and my aunt. That's her husband, Jim, Debbie, and Jimmy. Look how little they were. Look at that hairdo. Ah, that's the hairdo they had back in the day. And that's a picture. These are all Betty right here. There's a picture of me. I didn't know anything about how to tie my hair back then. All right. That's me and Darlene. Look at that. Would you just look at that? Look at that face. Beautiful. My sister was beautiful, is beautiful. Now that's a good picture of my mama, but it's so fuzzy. I've seen a better one of them, of that one, but I don't think I have it. Oh God, that's me and a guitar. That did not go nowhere. Yeah. My sister got a typewriter. I got a guitar and some boots. Look at that. A BB gun. Look at that Christmas tree. That's one of them silver ones. Yeah, that was silver. All right. That's one of my very first early birthday parties. A lot of anguish with birthday parties. Uh, I I didn't have many of them back in them days. That's me and Darlene, and that's the house on Shelby Street. Look at that old TV. Look at that. Mm. That's the kind of TV we had, people. Now that's me on one of my bicycles. I used to jump them things. That's my daddy. Look at him. These are neighborhood kids. That's the gypsum mill. That's the railroad track right there at the end of the road at Shelby Street. Well, it took a hard right, and you could go back up on the highway. That's a good one of my mama. I think y'all seen that one. Now look at that. That's me and Darlene. Ain't that something? Now look at that one. Smiling. Look at that. Look at that. Oldie times back in the 60s. Now that's an Easter picture right there. Pretty sure. Yeah, look at that hair. Sister looks really happy. And there's my mom. That's the picture. It reminds me a lot. I'll just give you a little idea. My mama looked like a movie star, and my daddy looked like a movie star. And they couldn't live together. They fought and were jealous of each other. So me and Darlene were passed around from grandma to aunt to different people in our family that tried to help us. But basically, I hadn't seen my mama in quite a while, probably a year or so, and she came to visit, and I'll never forget that picture being taken. And I was so happy when I grew up and found it, that kind of thing. But I do remember the feeling of having a family and for my grown people trying to be a family. So that's why I made sure that I raised my children and had fun with my children as a family. Now that's pictures of me in school. Yep, that's me. Darlene, Darlene, Darlene. Look at that. Ain't that pretty? Look at that Air Force. and that's my grandmother and grandfather. He died shortly after these pictures were taken. Heart attack. Now that's a good picture of my mama. Ain't that something? Look at that. Mm. Now that was pretty young. I don't even think I was in school. I know I wasn't in school in that picture. That looked like somebody should have been in Hollywood, boy. looked like he looked like he knew something, don't he? Now that's a good picture of my daddy and my mama. That shows you how young they were when they got together. She was beautiful. Remind me of a country western song singer, Loretta Lynn, and he looked like Elvis Presley and James Dean, and they just was like fire and water. They loved each other. They honestly loved each other, but they could not live together. It was sad. But then again, it wasn't. Look at that. Ain't that's my baby. And here's other pictures of them. Look at that. Brittany, Mallory, Mallory. I mean Brittany and Brittany. That's Robert, and that's Mallory. And I don't know if that's a picture of Mallory. Yeah, might be. That's one of our early family pictures before. I think she's actually pregnant with Mallory in this picture. I had started my construction jobs at that time, and had started making pretty good money. And look how green I look. I mean, I didn't know anything about surveying, but I was so willing to learn because it was what I loved doing it. It wasn't like going to work, but I don't have a whole lot of job pictures. They back in the day they would not let us take pictures. Now that's Mallory, that's Robert, and that's me. Look, I'm smoking a cigar or something. That's pitiful. I quit smoking at 28. That's a good picture. I always like the smiles on their faces. And that's us back in the blue kitchen. Everybody loved that blue kitchen. Everything's painted blue in it. Look at that. That's Mallory. Mallory. And that's us at the house in Greenville, Mississippi. Look at the glasses. Look at them. Would you just, I got to zoom in on them. Y'all ain't gonna believe this, but how big these damn glasses was, and it was the style. I could have been the style back then, but it was the style. Paste, hit paste. Now zoom in on them damn. I don't know what happened. It went all the way to the clipboard. All right, do the zoom in like this. Zoom, zoom. Look how big those damn glasses. I don't even wear glasses no more. I need to make a video about how come I had to wear glasses back then. That was bullshit. Glasses are a gimmick. You can create and have perfect vision by just believing it. The more you don't wear your glasses, the quicker your eyes can get back to the normalcy of being able to see 2020. I keep a pair of glasses in the car in case it gets dark and it's raining. I need them then, but I damn sure don't need them on a normal day. Glasses, people. Look at them. Look how big they are. What the hell was we thinking? It's crazy. Oh shit, where'd I go? I jumped out of the picture. All right, I'm gonna cut that and look at the big picture one more time and see what I want to show you. Hell, I'm just showing you everything. I'm just laying it out. I wasn't gonna do this. And I got to saying, you know what? It's picture day because it's my mama's this is Mama Day. And I just said, shoot, I might as well show you my pictures. Look at them. That I've always loved that picture right there. That is a really good one. That could be run through AI and really cleaned up and fixed. Damn, look at them glasses. What the hell were we thinking? Oh, I love that picture. That's one of my favorite like that. Look at that. Easter. Man, we believed in Easter bunny. I don't think nothing about Easter no more. It's totally paganism and Satanism. I don't want anything to do with it. That's an early, early picture of Darlene. Look at that. Darlene at the First Baptist Church in Greenville, Mississippi. Oh, these are all good pictures of Danny. Look at it. He's my youngest brother. There's Darlene. There's my daddy Bo. That's Robert. And that's Lisa, his oldest daughter. And that's Darlene. And this is the house in Greenville, Mississippi. Back that way is Highway 1. Maybe saying that wrong. Oh, there's a good one of my mama. Look at that. Would you just look at that? Boy, my daddy was out of shape in that picture. And pretty good shape there, but boy, them cigarettes really done a lot of people in. You know what's doing a lot of people in now is in damn cell phones in their pockets. It's pitiful, pitiful. There's the picture of Robbie. That's Glennis and that's Robbie, and that's the church scene that I was telling you about. I took that picture. I was there. That's my picture I took. Yeah. I wasn't in the movie. They cut that out. I never finished telling you that story about how that little girl, her daddy was one of the executive producers, and we were supposed to be in a place looking down on the hoedown dancing thing where the grown people are drinking and dancing and partying, and I'm supposed to kiss her on the cheek, and it didn't happen. She just, yeah. I'm not saying it was my fault, her fault, nobody's fault, but they tried to film it several different times from several different ways, and you can't stop a production when they got schedules, and it got every bit of it got cut out. Every bit. Now that's a picture, old picture of Shelby Street. How am I saying it right? Shelby? Look at that. There's an old picture somewhere in here of me skating on a skateboard. That's one of the first time I went to camp, 1971. Look at that. People take other people's kids and kid stuff and underwear and shoes and throw them on top. I told them if they touched my damn shoes and underwear, I was gonna beat their butts. That's me. That's me right there. Look at that. Old enough to drink a beer. Damn. That's a picture of my mama right there. Look at that. I don't know what the date is on that picture, but that's a picture of my mama. I've always loved that picture. That was a good picture of us. That's my dad and his that's Dewey and that's Bo, my daddy. And that's my cousins, Jimmy and Debbie. That's Debbie and my daddy. Look how pretty she was and how handsome my daddy was. And that's my granddaddy and my grandmother. All right, let me see where I'm at now on this. Get here. I've got just a few more to show you. Now that's a good picture of my daddy with his cars. Yeah, this is based around a funeral. I can't think of who had passed away. That's Robert. So this is Dewey's oldest son and his wife, and that's Betty. That's a good one of my daddy. Bo, my children. Now that's an old picture of my daddy. Look at that. That house there's like a shotgun house we lived in. That's a good picture of my mama. Look at that. Norris. We call him Pop. Norris Newton. Now that's a good one of my mama right there. So see, I did need to show y'all all of them to get to these other pictures that at the top of the list for some reason. I got none of this stuff organized. This is after a pretty bad bicycle wreck. That's broken collarbone. Look at the TV stacked on top of TV. That's when the bottom TV breaks, so they get another TV and they put it on top of the other TV. Y'all kids don't know nothing like that now, do you? That's a good picture of my mama and my daddy. That's that James Dean look. That's me, and that's me and my mama. That's my daddy. 1950-51. Susie P. Trigg, Greenville, Mississippi. That's my mama, and that's when she's getting ready to have a baby shower party thing. Ain't that something? Look at my daddy in that picture. That was, I guess, before me. Yeah, because that's 1960. That's 1960. Hmm. And that's us right there. My mama, my daddy, Betty, grandma. And look at that, wearing birthday hats. That's Betty. That's my mama's sister. She's 100 and still alive. Never smoked a cigarette, never drank, and still alive. That tells you something on it. That's my daddy and my mama. Look at that. I think he was a milkman route age there. That's my mama. Fixed their hair up. Look at that. My grandmother. Oh, that's a good one. Show you that. Quit jumping. That's my daddy. Look at the cigarette. That's my mama. Probably supposed to not be smoking, but smoked during pregnancy. Back in them days, that's what they did. Look at that. Old television. Goodness sakes. Young and in love. That's a good one of my daddy. Classic look. That's 1960. I was born in 61. That's Robert, and that's my daddy Bo. And that guy was called Whitey. There's stories I could tell you about him later. But this is one of the brothers' pictures and sisters. It's oldest, my daddy, Betty, Bill, and the baby Robert. And there they are again. There's Robert, Bill, Betty, Bo, Dewey, and my grandmother. Now that's a good picture. Look at that. Ain't that professionally done? And there they are right there. Look at that. And that's my mom and daddy. Yep, that's my daddy in the military. Wouldn't even 17, I think. Yeah, lied about his age. That didn't last long. A good picture of him. And that's early picture of him in school, probably a school picture. Grandmother. That's my grandpa. And that's my brother and me. Look at me. Darlene. That's how old my children were. That's Brittany and Mallory. And that's Robert. Look how big he got. He's tall as I am. He's even taller now. And that's me as a rock star. Look at that. Ain't that something? Look at that hair. Nobody, yeah. Everybody back in them days had long hair. And that's a good picture if I could zoom in on that. And that's a picture of me. That's me. Hmm. Mm-mm. Why am I showing this picture? Why? Would you look at them glasses? If I could go back and tell him, quit wearing your damn glasses, your eyes are going to be perfect. Look at that. Button your shirt up, boy. And there's me, fat, overweight, and just happy as hell. Didn't know nothing. There's me in that suit again. Couple of me. I remember my ear getting tore up some way on a bicycle rack, a ride or something, and I had to take a picture with it all scabbed over. Now, that's a good picture of me, and that's me with long hair. That's me. Yeah, that's a pretty early picture of me, and that's the us, Darlene, David, me. Look at that. Back around to oh, there's Emily, Emily Limley. She's the lady that came to me August the 17th, 2003. My mind became still. And day two of my awakening, I'm at my brother's house telling them about what happened a couple of nights earlier. She pulls up in the yard and points her finger, says, gets out of her Cadillac and walks, white Cadillac, gets out of the Cadillac and walks to the front of the car because she could see us, pointing her finger and said, we got a revival down here at the Pentecostal church and y'all need to come. And she turned finger back at me and looked dead at me and said, especially you. I didn't go Friday, Saturday, but I went Sunday, and me and her got to be running buddies for quite a while. She was 80, 86 when I met her, and she passed away at 90, I want to say 98 or 97. It's questionable. But yeah, Emily Limley taught me to speak life to my body, my cells, and my DNA. She has laid her body down this day, and that was June 14th, 2014. Yep. So I knew her from August the 17th, a couple of days, 18, 19, 20, when I met her, 2003. And I just really had a ball with her and Tupelo Joe. That's Susan and her mom. And that's Susan and her mama. Look at the babies. Look at that. It won't stop. Stop. Look at that. Little bitty Brittany. No, no. Yeah, that might be Brittany. And that's Mallory. And that's Brittany and her husband, Jonathan. And that's Emily. And this was 2000. This picture was taken in 2009. She could move around. She'd been healing her body with her spoken word for, I think she said, right at 30 years. And was practicing self realization of the I am Christ consciousness living on the inside of her atoms. And I'm telling you, right up until she passed, she was healthy. during that stage that we were on the road traveling for 2.5 years, not constantly, don't get me wrong, but just when we had reasoning to get out, sometimes we'd stay gone for 2 weeks, and she had scheduled different churches that she hadn't been in, some of them 10 years, some of them 15 years. But she would, I'd drive, and her and Tupelo Joe would be in, the back seat or front seat or whatever, and we'd just have fun talking. And she'd get to the church, and I done drove 10 hours, and she would commence to washing dishes or whatever you needed to be done, stay up till about 12 or 1, get up at like 5 and cook breakfast, go all day, and just couldn't, just had all the energy in the world. And you can look at that face, and people just did not recognize that that was a living miracle, that her and Tupelo was as healthy as they was, and nobody even got a clue how they do it. And they was preaching about it. They were talking about it like I do. Yes, we have the right to speak life to our atoms, our cells, and our DNA, and we can be healthy. Since August 17th, 2003, I have not been sick. Her teaching, the way that she taught me to speak life, is real. It works. Sure, I have flu-like symptoms, or, you know, symptoms that might be like a cold or something. But I'm telling you, when you get your immune system adjusted right, and it's Christ-like energy, and you know you're a light body being inhabiting a physical form, you can cast off any sickness, any disease, any negativity. You can live healthy. I just come off of a 22-mile bike ride today. Yeah. And I'll be riding all summer. I'll get me in some centuries before the end of summer. Hopefully before October and it gets cold again. Damn. How many centuries will I ride? 107 is my layout pattern. But what the kicker is, by the end of summer, will I be able to do 3 in a row? That means do 107 one day, wake up the next day and go do 107, wake up the next day and go 107. That's a trifecta. I've done it uh, quite a few times over the last 15 years. Will I be able to do it this year at 64? I don't know. I plan on running a triathlon when I'm 80 and winning the damn thing in my age division. Look, people, life is what we make it. Speak healing, love, and energy to yourself. Heal your own body by the spoken word of the resurrected power of the I am that I am and you are. You will have what you ask for. You will become what you think you are. When you can control your thinking and control your breath, you can control your health with the spoken word and speaking directly to your atoms and become that you say you are. I say that I'm becoming that of a 21-year-old elite Olympic athlete, specializing in decathlons and triathlons, CrossFit, kiteboarding, cycling, walking, running, spinning, swimming. Yeah. And you do the work, and you eat healthy. You eat real food. Quit eating junk. I got to go. I've run out of things to say. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. I really appreciate y'all watching. And there'll be a link in the description with the timestamps so you can see my mama. I may make a clip later on and be able to upload it, but for some reason it would not let me do it no matter what. This is that documentary. Yeah. All right, people. That is so weird. Y'all have a wonderful day. I really appreciate y'all tuning in.